Is TV18 and you're watching CNBC TV18.
Hi there, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of News Now. I'm Davina Munro coming to you from the Mumbai News Centre. Here's a look at the headlines. Over 17% vote in Maharashtra. Decent turnout, of course, in Mumbai as well. Top corporate and political leaders were amongst the early voters. And meanwhile, 22% polling is seen in Haryana in the first 4 hours. Polling peaceful, barring, of course, for a clash between the BJP and the INLD supporters in Sirsa. Focus is on the telecom space. TRAI releases recommendations on spectrum valuation reserve price for licenses expiring in 2015-16. It is also recommended to auction only spectrum held by service providers in the 900 MHz band, and also says that the Department of Telecom should take a complete fresh look at the implementation of eGSM band. And from the earnings corner, Mindtree and NIIT Tech will announce their numbers today. A CNBC TV18 poll sees the dollar revenue for Mindtree at 4.4% higher at about 147.5 million, while the EBITDA is expected at 19.76%. And in a jolt to Reliance Infra and GVK Power, the Supreme Court says that the dispute over the hydropower projects has dragged on for far too long and that the state government should consider scrapping the tender process. All right, so polling is underway in Maharashtra, and this, of course, is being pegged as the biggest electoral battle that the state has ever seen, with, of course, 4 big players in the fray. So far, of course, 17% polling has been recorded in the state, 15% polling in Mumbai alone. Rest, of course, of the constituencies also seeing a steady voter turnout. Of course, for the first time, former allies, the BJP and the Shiv Sena, will face off in a bid to win 288 assembly seats in the state. And also in the race are old friends turned foes now. Of course, the NCP and the Congress, who actually faced massive anti-incumbency and also pitted against one another after they ended that 15-year-old alliance. Meanwhile, of course, we go over to Haryana, where the voter turnout has also been far, about 31% till noon. The highest, actually, polling has been seen in Kurukshetra so far. Violence also has been reported from the Modiakhera village in Sirsa, where the BJP and the INLD supporters have actually clashed over there. 2 people also have been injured. Remember, of course, that in Haryana it is a 3-cornered contest in the state between the incumbent Congress, the INLD, and the BJP in the state. And we did spot many prominent figures from India Inc. Heading out of there to make their vote. Here are some of the key corporate voices we spoke to as they cast their vote.
We do not want to lose Mumbai, which is the commercial capital, the financial capital, lose its significance. And we need to make Mumbai more attractive for companies, for people to come and live here. So that is what we need in the next 5 years. I think we are here, we are in for a coalition, and there will be a coalition. I expect a coalition, maybe with a smaller party, with a smaller number of seats.
We want growth, we want stability, and definitely, you know, there is so much of expectations. Especially, I was in IMF meeting just the whole of last week. So where India is concerned, the entire world seems to appear to think that, you know, we are on the cusp of real good growth. So I hope we'll be able to meet up with those expectations.
For a party that can synchronize well with the central government, and we're looking for a party that can be business friendly, that can pass projects rapidly, and that the ease of doing business can improve. Because if business improves, industry improves, then people's lives will improve, employment will grow, and I think Maharashtra can do exceedingly well.
To me, more important is a party rather than an individual. And what I would look for is someone who helps in bringing in clean administration, 1. 2, helps in building better infrastructure. 3, if you look at a city like Mumbai, we've seen so many issues in terms of transportation, in terms of pollution, in terms of, you know, it's not as great living in Bombay today as it used to be 35 years ago. So I want someone who can really do something for Bombay.
right, and let's also listen in now to some prominent political voices on today's elections.
Today people have voted with tremendous enthusiasm, even more enthusiasm than Lok Sabha. It's an unparalleled scene as far as the state assembly elections are concerned. If the Lok Sabha elections was doomed, this is doomed too. People are voting for good governance. People are voting for change. People are voting for decisive mandate in favor of BJP.
हर एक चुनाव अपने आप में एक महत्व रखता है। अब की बार एक विशेष परिस्थिति में चुनाव हो रहा है क्योंकि केंद्र में सत्ता बदल हुआ है और सारे अलायंसेस टूट चुके हैं। जो एनसीपी और कांग्रेस का अलायंस था वो भी अलग हो गया है और बीजेपी शिवसेना का अलायंस भी बाहर हो गया है और हर एक दल अपनी अपनी ताकत आजमा रहा है। मैं समझता हूं कि जिस तरह से केंद्र ने, देश की जनता ने छोटी पार्टियों को अलग कर दिया था, उनको आशीर्वाद नहीं दिया था, उसी तरह से महाराष्ट्र में भी जो राष्ट्रीय पार्टियां हैं उन्हीं को मतदाता चुनेंगे।
मैं तो किसी की चुनौती राजनीतिक नहीं मानता हूं। जितनी सारी महाराष्ट्र की समस्या है वो बड़ी चुनौती है। आम आदमी जो है वो परेशान है। अपने जीने मरने के सवाल तो सबके पास है, लेकिन उत्तर किसी के पास नहीं। मैं आया हूं उत्तर लेके। मैंने जो 1 महीना 1.5 महीना पहले विजन डॉक्यूमेंट सबके सामने पेश किया और उसमें मैंने दिखाया मेरे पास उत्तर है, सिर्फ सवाल नहीं है, उत्तर है। और यही इसीलिए मैं चाहता हूं कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता उतर कर आए, वोट करे और शिवसेना की सरकार बनाए।
All right, and so we have our reporters on ground now across Mumbai and of course in Gurgaon as well. Kritika Saxena, Archana Shukla and Ritupurna Bhuyan joining us now. Kritika, we'll come to you first. Now we've heard Deepak Parekh actually say earlier that he is a little surprised by the voter turnout which we've seen in Mumbai so far, a lot lower than actually what we've expected and what we've actually seen in other parts of the state. Why does Mumbai seem to be low on sentiment?
You know, surprisingly, this is actually lower than what we saw during the Lok Sabha elections. This time around in Villa Teresa, which is typically one of the hubs when it comes to the South Mumbai constituency, Villa Teresa has been fairly silent and fairly tempered when it comes to the voter response. So we haven't been able to, of course, there's no one particular reason why the voter turnout hasn't been significant. But yes, there has been a mixed sentiment when it comes to which party to vote for. Of course, there are 5 major parties, as we have been saying all day long. Split between Shiv Sena and BJP could have been one of the concerns, and that's what a couple of people over here have been talking about. But let me talk about this place. Typically, the day started early in the morning, 7 a.m. We actually saw corporates come in way in advance. So between 7 to 9 a.m. it was fair. We actually saw the Hindalco CEO and Ajit Gulabchand early in the morning around 6:50 come in to cast their votes. Typically, what corporates want in the state right now is infrastructure development, clarity when it comes to infrastructure project, and of course a simplified structure when it comes to clearances of project. That seems to be major on the agenda. And given that this is this constituency is typically a slightly upper market elite constituency, the South Mumbai or the Sobo, so to speak, of Mumbai, these are the larger issues are what are important rather than the smaller issues like water, sanitation, power, etc.
All right, thanks so much for that, Kritika. So 7 to 9 a.m. actually saw most amount of activity from where she's at. And we'll go across to Archana now. Archana, coming to you, we know that Maharashtra has struggled with corruption over the last few years. In fact, we've also seen the BJP heavily playing on the promise of a change and a corrupt-free government over there. Tell us about the turnout from where you're at, and also which party do you think voters are swinging towards?
Well, I'm standing outside a polling booth here in Worli. This is a constituency which has some of the key industrialists, some key executive and mid-level executives and the investor community that stays in this locality. We saw big faces like Ajay Piramal, Swati Piramal, TCS's chief N. Chandrasekharan coming here in the early hours today to vote. And when we spoke to them, the basic criteria on which all 3 of them, they said they voted is infrastructure development and a better policy framework environment that they expect the new government to bring in once it once the new government is formed. Both of them spoke about the need for developing Maharashtra and Mumbai into a world-class state and a world-class city. Mumbai is the commercial capital of the country, but still lags when it comes to infrastructure development, and that's the key priority for most of the voters who've come here, and that is what they're looking for and expecting from the government. Also, in terms of a better policy framework, in wooing investors who can come up and set up industries that would in turn boost employment generation in the state. The other voters also that we spoke to, two key areas that they said they want the new government to focus is security and terrorism, especially in a city like Mumbai. That was on the mind for most of the voters here. This is a constituency which had the NCP star candidate Sachin Ahir, who had won in the last assembly elections. This time he's fighting a five-pronged battle with four other key contestants from Congress, BJP, Shiv Sena and MNS. It will be a very, very interesting battle to see which way Mumbai will cast its vote and which party would win. Till this hour, the voter turnout is not very great. From mild, it has come up slightly. We'll hope that as the day progresses, Mumbai will come out in large numbers and cast their vote.
All right, so Archana Shukla there in Worli in Mumbai, and we'll head over now to Rituparna Bhuyan in Gurgaon. Ritu, of course, there have been reports of incidents of unrest in parts of Haryana today, clashes in fact between the BJP and INLD supporters. What's the situation on ground from where you're at?
Right now, I'm at Kanha village, which is in Gurgaon, and as far as this polling center is concerned, things are peaceful here. Let me just ask and request my camera person to just pan and show you the polling center. There are 3 polling booths here, and though we are not allowed to go inside, I can tell you that there are long lines inside, and the presence of voters have improved in the afternoon, and we have not seen any untoward incidents till now here in South Haryana as well as Gurgaon area. It's basically a 3-pronged contest here. One is, of course, the Congress, which is looking at having a 3rd term here in the state. Then you have the INLD, which is looking at increasing its tally in the assembly. Last but not the least, we have the BJP, which is looking at a rerun of the kind of results it got in the general elections. But it remains to be seen which of these 3 parties is able to get most of these votes. I can tell you this, that the presence of INLD cadre here is the most in the polling booths that I visited, and it will be interesting to see on Sunday which party the voters of Haryana give their which of these parties is able to get the most of the votes. With that, it's back to you.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Ritu. And time for a short break right now. And we'll shift focus after the break to the telecom space. The TREI releases recommendations on spectrum valuation reserve price for licenses expiring in 2015-16. More on that once we come back. Stay with us.